This that genealogy talk. Anybody that's looking to do genealogy, listen to this live, share it out. You know what I mean? Genealogy is so important. I'm about to play this surah. This is the Al-Nam, the 27th surah. It's talking about Sheba, Solomon and Sheba, and when Solomon's when Sheba submitted her will to Allah. So we're gonna have that couple of nuts in the back. So this one is a little bit about here. This live we're gonna talk about my genealogy and like the work that I want to give a shout out to my Aunt Betty too, because she's really, everybody got an Aunt Betty in the family that's in the background. She, you know what I mean? She retired, and so this is what she do all day type. So this is where I descend from. That's where I descend from. That's my mama and my dad's mama and my dad's father. You feel what I'm saying? Now, the other day I was telling y'all that my grandma Viola, she's a Critz. You feel me? Bismillah, she's a Critz. Now, my grandma Viola, she born in 1933, and my grandfather born in 1929. Who I'm right here, I'm hovering above right here. He was born in 1929. The same year as Martin Luther King. In fact, the same month. In fact, he was born 6 days after Martin Luther King. Literally 6 days after Martin Luther King. And to kind of hone in on him a little bit, my grandfather, I learned a lot more about him after he died. Like, his mama name was Odell, and she was born in 1905. And she was born in the same house that she gave birth to him in. And that house still stands today. It should be a historical landmarker there. You feel me? So that's 2 generations, perhaps 3, that was born in the same house on the same lands. And that's the lands that he married my grandma Viola onto. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they didn't just get it. They had to work for it. And that's the thing about inheritance. Like, though you may be entitled, you still got to put in the work. You feel what I mean? So they raised a family of pure blood. All 5 of their babies come from the same stock. You feel what I'm saying? So, what else about my grandfather Gordon? He lived he saw 90 years old. And then this is my mama here. She's born in 1951. Right? And that's me right here. I'm born in 95. And so, yeah, that's my grandma Viola. So, she's a Critz from her father's line. Right? She's a Critz. So I was going to show you. That's my grandma. She's a Critz from her father. Now, I want you to take a look at this. It's so important to do genealogy. Do your genealogy. Know where you come from. You see what that say, right? Spencer Critz. This is Virginia. That's 158 in Virginia, right? Is that the highway, or is it just 58? That's 58. So Spencer Critz. Now look at this. So here you see the picture is kind of off. This is my mommy right here. But that's my grandma mama right there. That's my grandmother Viola's mama right there. Her name was Bertha Spencer Cripe. And see, they got Elmer here. That's her consort. That's who was the Critts. That's who she married into the Critts family. But they got it listed as Cripe. But the official record says Critts. This is why you have to do genealogy. So for my family, for my tribe, you feel what I'm saying? The Crites is the Critts. And when you look up the Critts, do you understand? When you look up the Critts, I showed y'all the other day on live what it said about the Critts. Yeah. A popular family with the surname Critts came from Friedenberg, Westphalen, Germany. And they settled in where? What'd that say? Where it say they settled? Patrick County, Virginia. So the Critts settled in Patrick County, Virginia. Now look at this. That's me at the county line. Coming in from Stokes. Now Forsyth County used to be a part of Stokes County. Forsyth County broke off from Stokes County in 1849. That's when Forsyth County broke off from Stokes County. So we're talking about genealogy. You feel me? So this is where my genealogy, that's Highway 8 right there. This is Highway 8. So 8 runs into 58. And that's how you get here. That's how you get back to the jump. So this is the genealogy. This is like the book of Numbers right here. So you see Sophia Adams up here? That's her daughter, Nora. Right? So Sophia Adams was born in 1842, 7 years before Forsyth County was established. So she was born, now the bordering county to Patrick County is Stokes County. So at that time, she was born a county up from the jurisdiction of, at that time, Salem, Badabra, Bethania. It was no Winston-Salem. It was Salem, Badabra, Bethania. And Wachovia. The territory was called Wachovia. But it was south, it was in Stokes County, if that makes sense. And the county up would be Virginia, which is Patrick County. And I think probably at that time, it would have been adjoined with Henry County. So this is giving the history of like the original, not the original, but she come from the original, the line of, matriarchs. Sophia just mean the great mother. And that's what she was. She's the great mother. She's the great mother for our family. And I probably have, like, if you watching this live and you born in Carolina, like North Carolina, in these territories going, and Virginia, stretching from Patrick County over into Richmond, you know what I'm saying, and down into Raleigh and back over, we probably have the same common ancestor. You probably come from Sophia Adams too. That's just a fact. It's a whole bunch of us. You feel what I'm saying? But see, Forsyth County is right. Highway 8 turned into Germantown Road in Forsyth, in the Trefo. And this is where my genealogy, this is why I encourage everybody to do their genealogy. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, shout out Long Live Nip. So you got Nip on top drill. My daughter says that's me. And also, somebody else told me that that's me. So this is going in, and it flows right into my grandma Bertha, my mom Bertha. And so this is what that last paragraph on the next page say. Sophia's descendants can be traced through Ani, her granddaughter, whose children were Carl, Ura, Edith, and Nowlin. In addition, the family tree can be traced through the granddaughter, Lula, right? That's where we come from. Lula, that's the branch that we come from, off of Sophia, off of the Sophia tree, right? We come from the Lula branch. Robert, Daniel, Bertha. My mom Bertha was born in 1906. So she was born a Spencer. And she became a Critch. She became a Critch. And so you see that 4:30. My fault, man. When you serve on a lot of boards, you gotta coordinate times. So this is it. Critch. Spencer. Critch. And so I had to publicly put this out there. You feel what I'm saying? Just because that's what it is. And so the Critch married into the Slades. You know what I'm saying? So the Critch. So the Adams married the Spencers. The Spencers married the Critch. The Critch married the Slades. The Slade. And then the real, my mama married into the Slades. So the Jones married into the Slades. From the lines of the Creeks and the Adams. So this is why your genealogy, like, we literally on the map. Legitimately on the map. Legit on the map. We on the map. And then so this is another look of Spencer's down here. Critch is here. Woolwine is here. This is where these is all a mountain terrain. And so all our people descend from these territories. And I'm going to see if I got some receipts on the indigenous tribes that were there. That's Occaneechi, Saponi, Tatilo territory. You know what I mean? So, like, dang, man, I miss my grandma. I miss both of my grandmas. And so my grandma, Viola, she transitioned. I met my grandma, Dorothy, my mama. She transitioned on my grandma Viola Critch's birthday. So you say her says she was born July 7th, 1933. My other grandma transitioned, so this is like, I'm ordained to do this work. I didn't have a choice. I really did not have no choice at all. That's Louisville. We were in Louisville. My Uncle Stan transitioned this year. It's been a crazy year, man. Like, for real, it's been a crazy year. Dang, I wish I could, if I click on this, I'm going to have to scroll all over again, but it's talking about the indigenous people. See, I'm gonna read it to you. So the slaves, they came from. Remember, I told you in the last live, they married into the Carolinian tribes. The English, the slaves was the English marrying into the indigenous tribes, and then so that's where that slave line come from. You feel me? Says that, and the slaves were all over, man. If you type in Bath and you look at Bath from an aerial view, you're gonna see the slave gut. Listen here, listen. The area. I wish I could. I can't click on this. I'm gonna read it because I'm going to somewhere else. In today's area of Washington County was long inhabited by various indigenous people. In historical times, European traders encountered Choctaws whose territory extended through most of present-day Mississippi, later Creek Indians who had moved southwest from Georgia, early settlers who encroached in their land. Washington County was organized June 4th, 1800, from the Tombigbee district of the Mississippi Territory by proclamation of the governor. But the point I'm making is these slaves were in Hyde County, and this set of slaves descended. I mean, they took a ship or a boat from Hyde County to Washington County, Alabama. You're gonna see those are two ports. You feel what I'm saying? And then when they went through these ports, they when they went through the ports, to the ports, they settled there in this region. You feel me? So they had already had the American mix. You feel me? They had already settled in Hyde County, but in that around that same time period, say 1804 is when they relocated. So 4 years after the county was established, the slaves went there, and they are still there. They still there. Bismillah. So yeah, this is where genealogy. You got to do that genealogy, man. When the hell did I go to Walmart? When was that? Okay. All right, hold on. That go birthday. Okay, that man, I want to show that so bad. I think I read about it first. If I pull up a receipt past this date, that means I read about it before I went there. Let me see here. Let me see. That's crazy, bro. This is the real work. You gotta go. You gotta get up and go to these places. Okay, then we're getting hot. We're getting hot. Oh, that's the Constitution. That's the Carolina Constitution. Oh, here, go right here. Bet. Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, bet. All right, Red Hill, the history of Red Hill. So this is the same. Look at what it say. Patrick Henry County. Patrick, what it do, Jay? Hop on the live real quick. What it do? So I'm doing a genealogy talk, teaching people like this is like how people should be doing their genealogy. This is important. It says Red Hill is not just Red Hill is not just home of the prominent founding father. It is the repository that stretched back before European colonization. Bo in the house. What up, cuz? Damn, that's crazy. Now I gotta go all the way back. It cut me out. That's crazy. Hold on. Oh, I forgot it was going. I had just pulled that joint up. So for the people that watch this on playback, y'all got to go look up the history of Red Hill. It's going to tell you about the indigenous tribes that was in Patrick and Henry County. That's why we got to do our genealogy, because it's going to tie us back to these tribes that were in these counties before, like it said, European colonization. So this on my daddy side, cuz we going back to Virginia. And then the thing is, Kentucky used to be a county of Virginia. So Kentucky used to be a part of Virginia. It was a whole county. That's why everything run through Frankfurt, because Virginia, I mean, yeah, it was just a county, a sub county. I don't know what is wrong, but I love you, cuz. Hey, Hundo drop tomorrow. We ready for that shit for sure. We definitely got to put the Carolinas on the Hundo for sure. Let me see. What up?
Oh,
What up?
there we go. What up with you? Yeah,
Shit.
he dropped tomorrow cause he ready for that shit.
Yeah,
That's
for
all that
sure.
nigga keep talking about.
That's
Nigga, I
what's
hopped
up.
on your shit trying to see what you talking about. You didn't pull out the maps and shit.
Yeah, I'm doing genealogy talk, showing
Right.
people how they can trace their genealogy. And like, I went to the libraries. You feel
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So like, I went to the libraries and they had, in the genealogy section, they had my direct bloodline in the books.
Look what I got on.
Oh yeah.
I was just talking to somebody about that. No
You know,
shit.
that book was gifted to me. It's a sister. Her name is Amatalat Salam. She from Happy Hill in the Trefo, where we had that cookout at that day. And she like a OG, you know, in the she took me to her mosque and everything. And that same day she had gave me her them books. And I immediately thought about y'all. That's why I passed that, passed the torch. You feel me? So can you hear me, cuz? Can you hear me? Okay. But yeah, that was a gift by Sister Matala. Salam. Salam, salam. But yeah, we in here talking about genealogy and why it's important, because like it's a lot of resources in the land where we come from. You feel me? And we've been bamboozled and matriculated to think that, you know what I'm saying, like history started in 1700. But it go back way before that. Before Dre hopped on the live, I had pulled up this receipt. I'm gonna try to pull it back up. Let me see. I don't know what's going on with Dre phone, but hold on. Let me see. Let me try to do a part two to this. I'm gonna do a part two. Hop back on. We doing part two.